What's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It is Kevin Forte coming to you live from Long Island, New York, and today we are taking a look at the New York Rangers. So, surprising a lot of people, and not me so much, but a lot of people out there, the New York Rangers are quietly chugging along in the Metropolitan Division, one of the hottest teams in the NHL right now, and seemingly looking like a team that could really compete in the Eastern Conference. Now, there was a lot of adversity for the Rangers coming into this season. Even when they hit the ice in the preseason, the Rangers did not fare very well. They didn't look great during the preseason. There are some genuine concerns for this team still, but with the record, is this either their record being inflated and they aren't that good and there's a lot of hidden details that are problems for the team, or is their record a legit reflection of what we should expect from the Rangers moving forward? We're going to take a look at that today. So the Rangers right now, you look at the record right here below, 9-2-1, first in the Metropolitan Division. I would say that's a pretty good start, right? Then we take a look at some other factors here, which we shall not forget. 19 points already in their first 12 games of the season. Now, the game that made me want to make this video is their most recent matchup against the Red Wings, which was a really solid effort. Now, maybe the Red Wings are maybe coming back down to the level of a team that we kind of expected them to be in this season. Maybe it was a little bit fool's gold for the Red Wings early on. But nonetheless, the Rangers, over a large sample size, have played really well. Now, you look back to their first game of the season in Buffalo, that was a really big game for the Rangers. Laviolette really liked the way they played in that game. And a large portion of it was they pushed the Sabres around. And they would then lose to the Blue Jackets 5-3. And that 4-1 loss to the Predators, those two losses early on kind of gave us the fear of like, oh shit, maybe the Rangers aren't as good as maybe we were hoping they could be this season. Well, they went on the West Coast road trip, either where teams go to die or they come home as road warriors. And that was the case for the Rangers. A 4-1 win over the Seattle Kraken, a 3-1 win over the Flames, a 3-0 shutout in Edmonton, a 4-3 win in overtime over the Canucks, who have looked pretty good, a 3-2 win again in overtime over the Jets, a 2-1 win over the Hurricanes when it kind of looked like they were turning the corner, and it seems like they have been pretty hot recently. They beat them. They did lose in a shootout to the Wild, and then a 5-3 win over the Red Wings. And at one point, the Rangers had a 5-0 lead in that game against the Red Wings. So what can we take from that? What can we take from the Rangers season so far? And I think a really important thing to remember with this Rangers team is everybody's going to be talking so much about the kid line. Filip Chytil, Alexis Lafreniere, and Kaapo Kakko. And the fact those guys are not playing at their best. Rightfully so. That is worthy of criticism. Those guys have not been good enough. And if the Rangers want to do anything crazy this year, like maybe going to the Eastern Conference Final or the Cup Final or really going on that run, they are going to need those guys to step up at some point. But with how they're playing right now, it's self-sufficient even without those guys playing at their maximum level. Now, looking at the Rangers' power play, penalty kill, things like that, there is reason for optimism. Their power play at over 34%, which is really solid. That is really, really good numbers for the New York Rangers. That is definitely worth looking at. Their penalty kill, I'm sure Laviolette goes to bed at night very, very easily knowing that his penalty kill is over 86%. So both power play and penalty kill, the Rangers are well above average. Special teams is in favor of the Rangers so far this season. So that's really nice to see. I'm not really good with Corsi stats. I'm kind of a dinosaur with that stuff, so we're going to skip that part. Let's go down to the scoring leaders because we can all understand that pretty clearly. So Artemi Panarin leads the Rangers in points. He's got 7 goals and 20 points on the season. Chris Kreider is killing it. He's got 9 goals on the season, 12 points. Fox has been playing pretty well. Zibanejad, Eric Gustafsson. This guy continues to chug along. He's been bounced around the league. He still produces points, and it seems like he's found a pretty good fit with the Rangers. Even some of the younger guys like William Cully, he's got 4 points in his first 12 games. Lafreniere finally picking up some points. He's got 4 goals on the season. So there's reason for optimism for the Rangers, and rightfully so. This team is a team that we expect to be in the conversation as the big 3 in the Metro. It's not Washington. It's the Rangers, the Hurricanes, and the Devils. And right now, the Rangers have been the most consistent of those 3 teams to start this season. So that's really promising. That's something that definitely should be brought up and something that is very positive. Now, let's get to maybe some of the more negative side of things for the Rangers. The first being you look at Blake Wheeler and Nick Bonino, each respectively have played a dozen games for the Blue Shirts, and they have yet to register a point. Well, Blake Wheeler has picked up an assist, but neither of them have scored a goal yet. And that is not super concerning, but something that is worth mentioning. Other guys on this list that are concerning: VC, Kakko, Goudreau, Pitlick. He's only played in 4 games. But those guys, especially guys like Kakko and Goudreau, considering how much they're getting paid, you'd like to see a little bit more from those guys if I'm the Rangers. Now, what's the other thing that we should look at? Maybe a little bit more positive? The goalies. The goalie stats are really good for the Rangers. And this is huge, not only for Jonathan Quick and his numbers, but this is big for Igor Shesterkin because it takes a little bit of pressure, a little bit of the load off of him during the season. So when they make the playoffs, which I expect them to, I expect the Rangers to make the playoffs. When they make the playoffs, Shesterkin is not burnt out in the first and second round. But you can tell that we'll get to that later with Shesterkin, but Quick's numbers have been really impressive. Through 5 games now, he's got 3 wins in those 5 games, a .936 save percentage, and under 2 goals against per game. Really, really solid numbers for Jonathan Quick. Shesterkin's numbers have been okay, but I think there is an injury there, which is part of the reason he's not in the lineup, and we're going to look at that right now. And that is, so that's right here. That's something we need to look at. So Shesterkin, and this is from Friday of last week. Shesterkin is out for Tuesday's game against Detroit, and that's all we know. So it's been a conversation, a day-by-day conversation for the Rangers, especially on Twitter. I've been checking very, very often to see what's going on with Shesterkin. It seems like, he's at practice today, he's not at practice today. It's back and forth. So we'll see how much of an issue that comes down the line. But again, the fact that Jonathan Quick is playing as well as he is, it definitely takes a little bit of pressure off of Shesterkin to come back. And we talked about this in the preseason. Adam Fox, lower body injury. The Rangers announced that Fox would be out on LTIR with a lower body injury, so we expect him to be out for at least until, I think it's the second week of December. So that's definitely a tough loss for the Rangers, no doubt about that. But they have other guys that are stepping up, guys like Eric Gustafsson and Keandre Miller, where Adam Fox's loss, while it's still of a big magnitude, can be eaten up a little bit by other players on the team, right? It's a little bit of defensive, taking up those defensive minutes by committee, right? Not one guy taking on that role, but a bunch of guys in that top 6 unit for the Rangers blue line taking up some of that time. Philip Chytil, an upper body injury. They announced that Chytil has an upper body injury and is also on the injured reserve, so he could be back, I believe, by Thanksgiving, the week of American Thanksgiving, which is the 20th. So if that's the case, that's not the worst thing in the world. He has to be out for 14 days, but the Rangers should be okay, and we are seeing other guys get called up and get opportunities. That's just another opportunity for Will Cully in the lineup for the Blue Shirts. So now that we've kind of gone over that, now that you've got an idea of maybe some of the injury stuff going on for the Rangers and kind of what's going on, well, what does their schedule look like going into really up until Christmas. And looking at the Rangers' schedule, they do have a decent amount of home dates, but they also have a big road trip coming up here before American Thanksgiving, before the end of November. So this week they'll be playing at home against the Wild and the Blue Jackets. They didn't play so well against the Wild last time they played. They're going to be looking for revenge in that game. They play Columbus, which the Columbus Blue Jackets, that's a very winnable game. Both of those games should be winnable for the Rangers. And then they play a couple of tough opponents in the Devils and Stars. And then they have to play some crosstown rivals that are struggling right now in the Penguins and Flyers. And then we get to, and that's the Black Friday game on November 24th. That Black Friday, or is that Thanksgiving? I think that is Thanksgiving Day. Now I have to check. Either way, the Rangers are going to be playing a big televised game. Yeah, so that's Black Friday. So Black Friday at 1 o'clock, it's Rangers-Flyers, which that is obviously going to be a big game. Then they play a lot of home games in December, which is really nice. They play a lot of games in a short amount of time, though. A lot of back-to-backs to start off. The 2nd and the 3rd of December, they play Nashville and San Jose at home. So they have to travel from Nashville to home. So the Sharks will be waiting for the Rangers. That's a tough back-to-back. Then they play the 15th and the 16th. They play the Rangers at home. They play the Ducks at home. And then they have to go up to Boston the next night. Those are two tough home back-to-backs on the road and coming home. So that's really going to be difficult for the Rangers. That's going to be difficult navigating that part of the schedule. But a lot of winnable games here, though, that I do see. Nashville's a winnable game. San Jose, obviously, right? That's the good news about that first back-to-back. It's Nashville and San Jose. They should still be able to win at least one of those games, if not both, honestly, because the Sharks are that bad. The Senators, the Capitals, those are winnable games. And then the meat of the schedule, they play teams like the Stars, the Devils, the Kings, the Leafs, the Ducks, the Bruins, the Leafs again. So there's going to be some tough games in there for the Rangers. But it's just a lot of hockey in the month of December for the Rangers that you just hope that Shesterkin is healthy and ready for that stretch, because they are definitely going to need him. Not in those back-to-back scenarios necessarily, but they're going to need him at least back to 100%, or very close to 100% at the very least. And like I said, they're going to need Jonathan Quick to continue to play the way he is, because, again, that eases some of the tension on Shesterkin. If he is able to play well, he's able to keep up at least a 9-10 save percentage, something around there. So obviously you do expect a 936 the rest of the way. I mean, that's Vezina finalist numbers, potentially. That's expecting a lot from Jonathan Quick. But if his numbers stay around where they're at, the Rangers definitely have a shot here to be leading the Metropolitan Division in January. And like I said, a lot of hockey has to be played, especially in the month of December. And I think we're going to get a really good idea of where this team is at. But the Rangers are facing adversity again. You know, Laviolette took a lot of flack for some of the stuff. He was really rough on the Rangers in the preseason. They didn't look good on the ice. They looked disincentivized. They looked a little bit out of sorts, especially that game against the Islanders, I remember, in particular. That game at UBS, they did not look good. Laviolette was really beating into them a couple of games, and it seems like his message has gotten across, and the guys are buying in. And if that's the case, the Rangers will be a team to watch for. And it seems like all that stuff Laviolette did in the offseason and in the preseason and in training camp, at least to this point, has paid off. And the Rangers are finding themselves at the top of the division. 9 wins on the season. You look at that record below me. It's a pretty nice record to start this season through your first dozen games of the year. I like what I've seen from them so far. It's obviously they have their moments, but you compare, Carolina had a little bit of a bump in the beginning. The Islanders have been up and down on any given night. The Devils look pretty good. I think the battle between the Rangers and Devils, the Battle of the Hudson, is going to be really solid again this year. So, you know, I think for the Rangers, the key thing is get Fox back healthy. Hedl, let those guys rest. Same thing for Shesterkin, in all honesty. Let him rest. Let him get ready, because in December, things are going to really heat up for the Rangers, and they need those guys back and ready to go. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you guys think the Rangers' success so far is sustainable? If not, let me know why. I think it is sustainable. The only thing I would nitpick for the Rangers is I would like to see more depth scoring from this team. Like I said, Kakko without a goal. Or maybe he has one goal. Kakko has one goal. Lafreniere, he's starting to pick things up a little bit, and that's really nice to see. I'd like to see more from some of those defensive guys in the bottom six, right? Just a little bit of depth scoring. Nick Bonino getting on the board here and there. Barclay Goodrow. Blake Wheeler yet to register a goal. You need guys like that to step up for the Rangers because you can't rely on Kreider, Panarin, and Zibanejad the entire season. You know, those are very talented players, but when things get tough and maybe they're outmatched one night on the top line, they need the depth to come in and make a difference. And if teams start keying in on that top line and shutting down that part of the offense, well, the Rangers are going to be in a lot of trouble. But like I said, other than that, I'm really happy with what I've seen from them. Like I said, Laviolette, at least to this point, seems to be getting the message across to the players. They're scoring, they're producing goals, they're keeping the puck out of the net. The goalies have looked good. It's just now we're starting to see a little bit of adversity there. Like I said, with some injury bug stuff going on, as long as that injury bug doesn't get too far out of control, the Rangers should be okay. And I think they will be. And I expect them to be playing in April. I expect them to be playing April hockey in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. I like what I've seen so far. But let me know what you guys think. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more videos just like this. Check out our Goal Line Hockey Shop. The links to that are down below. And we also have the opportunity for you to become a member on the channel to help support. So if you want to donate to the channel, become a member today. It's a monthly subscription. So if you're interested in that, check that out. Again, links to all of that down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.